Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Off the Tools podcast with myself, Wayne Bettess, and Mr. Andy Jones. Welcome, Andy.
Morning.
So today episode is titled Ego is Killing Your Business. Get out of your own way. So I'm going to kickstart this. So over the years, I've read quite a lot of Stoicism books and things, and one of their key principles is ego is the enemy. So anyone can see this, seeing it? I've got a little coin. So I have all these little Stoic coins up on the side. It says ego is the enemy, and then on the back it says ego sucks us down like the law of gravity. So today we're going to be talking about how sometimes, we let our own ego hold us back and draw. Oh, you got it as well. There you go.
You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength.
Very nice. There we go. I didn't even know he had that. So there we go. Aligned as usual, it seems, doesn't it? Mine's in a nice little stand. Look, I have these little stands. So what do we mean by that? So you got a minute? Look at that. We're so similar. Literally never even knew he had that. Did you buy them off the Ryan Halliday website?
No, a different sort of website thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I have a little pouch thing. I probably should carry it with me. That to segue slightly from the topic, that's for me, who's we talk a lot in the group about things like anxiety and things like that, and that's so relevant whether it's personal stuff or business related. There's certain things that you cannot control, and you need to try your best to learn to not get ultra bothered by them. Easier said than done, as we all know that, especially as men. But trying to be calm in those situations is absolutely a superpower. Something Hormozy says is that if you can always be in a decent mood, it doesn't have to be a brilliant mood, but if you can always be in a decent / good mood all of the time, then you've kind of won at life then, because nothing's really going to bother you and you can keep pushing forward. So, but to get back on track,
just quickly on that, it's a skill, isn't it? To have that mindset. So it's something that some people are blessed with it, they just have it innately. Other people need to work on it. It's a really, really key point that. But to get back onto the subject of today, as anyone that listens to this regularly, we go on tangents. So if this is your first time here, get used to it because we'll be talking about things and we'll be going left and right, but we do try to bring it back to the center. But I've made a few notes just to try and keep us aligned. And the first one is wanting to be the hero. So, we're all problem solvers. If you're in business, part of running a business is problem solving. And sometimes we let that ego creep in where we have to be the hero of the situation. And in certain circumstances, that's a good trait to have. But when you let that sort of lead you all of the way, it takes you down completely different wrong paths, doesn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely. It's a tricky one, really, because in some ways, some lads want to really lean into that. There's lads in the group with teams who are the best engineer in the business, and they are viewed as the hero, and some lads like that. The problem is it can also then limit your the ability to move forward then, because you become trapped as that guy. You're the hero in the business, or you're the hero engineer. You're the guy that your mates ring when they're struggling and things like that. So that can cause its own share of problems. Still not repping the cup, man.
Sorry, say that again, mate. We're getting a little bit of a delay on this line for some reason.
Yeah, I noticed that before. Said you're still not repping.
I'm repping enough, you know. Jeez. Oh, the cup. Yeah.
No, the cup, the mug. It's not acceptable.
It's not big enough. Next time we order them, I need to get bigger cups. I like a big mug. Like I want bigger.
Got my little merch stand going on here from the last retreat. Anyone who didn't come to the retreat is missed out on a shit ton of merch. Yep, premium merch, definitely. Which all the lads who join off the tools get access to when we do the retreats.
Nice plug there, Andy. Love that.
Yeah, it's got to be done. Yeah, that's a big one. That just from what I've viewed with some of the lads in Alliance, there's being the hero in the business and wanting to stay as that will keep you firmly stuck as that guy, and it will limit your ability to pivot your role. Kind of keeps you stuck on the tools as well, I think, to a degree. You know, such a lad struggling, I'm going to shoot out and give him a hand.
Yeah, and it also messes up your family life as well in your personal time, because you know you go out and you solve these problems for people while neglecting your own life, don't you? You know, and some of it is responsibility, you know. So some things can't be avoided, you know. But you if you are gonna be the hero, you know, there needs to be a real reason behind it. You can't just be doing it to let your ego sort of lead that decision, can you? That leads us on to like the next point that I wrote down, which is like refusing help. This is a big one, especially for men, and obviously predominantly this is who we talk to, is men. So what does that mean, refusing help, to you, Andy? Like what springs to mind when I mention that?
So it kind of leans into some of the other notes that we've made on it, really, which is arguably ego in a nutshell, isn't it? Of it's a man thing, isn't it? Really, of not wanting to accept that help, and the ego and the stubbornness kicking in, and we get that a lot again within the Alliance, of lads thinking I should have accepted the help a little bit sooner. But it's such an inherent bloke thing, isn't it? Of we're stubborn, and we think that by asking for help or getting some help, then somehow we've failed to a degree. But the reality is you can't do everything yourself. You can't know everything yourself. And the bulk of almost all of us have, you know, and I use this phrase all the time, but accidental business owners. And being a phenomenal tradesman, it's just not enough. It's just not enough, because unless you've got the mindset to learn about software and learn about business and learn about, you know, running through your profit and loss and things like that, then you're going to stay stuck where you are, and you're going to be in your own way, hence the title of the podcast. But refusing help. I think a bit of it as well leans into, I've noticed a lot when, you know, on the forums and things like that, lads don't believe in help, if that makes any sense. It's bullshit, or don't. And again, it just to me, it almost always comes back to, but I'm a really good tradesman. And it's just not enough. It's just not enough anymore. And it's getting worse. And, you know, we did a couple of episodes ago about being quiet. And a lot of that, in my opinion, will be born from not getting help because your ego's blocking you. It's like, well, if you're quiet, why are you quiet? Most lads are saying, it's just the time of year. Obviously, for heating guys, this is obviously the opposite for if you've got a landscaping business or something like that. But it's just quiet. It is what it is. And it's like, we know, and the lads in the Alliance know that's not. You don't just sit down and give up and I'll just hang on till the winter, because what you're asking then is to make a year's worth of revenue in 4 months. Whereas if you swallow, get rid of your ego and you ask for help, and you say, well, actually, there's various strategies that can be implemented in your quiet periods, whether it's the summer or the winter, whatever your trade business fits into, and letting that, asking for that help and accepting that help can allow you to create that business that works all year round. So just to give that a bit more clarity, again, to use lads in the heating game, what a lot of lads in the Alliance do is, because they have a job management software, they are able to access the dates of things like annual boiler services and rearrange them into the summer, because they're a non-essential work, they're a non-urgent work. You want to be keeping diaries free in the winter for things like breakdowns. So you can rearrange those diaries. If they're service plan customers, they won't mind being rearranged. They're going to end up getting another service as part of their plan from when maybe they only had one 6 months ago. And the ones that normally have them in the winter, if you have a chat with them, you're usually understanding that the team is better left available in the summer. But also then if you can offer them a little bit of discount, because if you've only serviced it 6 months ago, it's not going to require that much work, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a little bit of context behind not lying down and just accepting that this is a quiet period. It's always working towards adjusting that and manipulating what's classically known as ups and downs in seasons. You can always use that to your advantage.
Yeah, definitely. But another what sprang to mind there while you were talking for me was, like, again, bringing it back to ego, is a lot of guys that we work with at the beginning are stuck in their own way in regards to, they believe that they can just work harder, you know, and going back to the first point, you know, of being the hero, they can just work harder to get out of the problem, when fundamentally, you know, they can't, because just doing more of the same will just create more of the same, won't it? So again, another key point there around sort of how you can get, when you're on your own, and I know I felt like this, and I'm pretty sure you probably did when you first started, it's very hard to accept, isn't it, that you don't know it all, or that maybe you feel a little bit weakened when you go to somebody and ask them for some advice and some guidance. And again, it's an ego thing, isn't it? We want to have the broad shoulders. We want to carry that weight. We want to, who's going to carry the boat? Goggins says, isn't it? You know, and yeah, there's a time for that. There's a time for, you know, grit and determination and sucking it up and all of that. But you've got to have a good circle of people around you, and you've got to have the right support and the right people that are gonna assist you and guide you and maybe point out where you're getting in your own way, because we can get, like, what is it they put on horses? Blinkers. You know, we can quite easily, those blinkers can start to curve in, and you can't look anywhere other than where you think you need to go. So just be very careful of that trap. Part of that, I guess, once you start to take them blinkers off, is delegating. Again, this is an ego thing, isn't it? You know, I can do it the best. You know, the way I do it, that's how it's done. I answer the phone the best. I do the job the best. I deal with the problems the best, which might be right. Okay, it might be true. But again, if you just keep doing the same thing, you're just going to keep getting the same results. So you've got to learn about delegate. You've got to be able to delegate, haven't you, to be able to sort of move the business forward.
Yeah, because what happens if you don't is you end up confusing hard work with growth and business progress, and you become proud. I mean, you know, this always makes me laugh. And you go back to times when me or you would have been in the merchants, or even now, I might if I'm on an office day for the heating business and I nip into the merchants, and maybe I'm picking up some stock to restock the one of the lads' vans or whatever it might be. It's always I'm trying to say this without laughing. It's always the same thing, like the same conversation among the lads in the merchants. All right, yeah, busy. Always the same.
And then it's like a big badge of honor. Yeah, mate, I'm stacked out for weeks. Oh yeah, I'm working 20 hours a day, mate. I am. What about you? I love it. I always go, yeah, I don't like to be busy. You know, that's always my response. I like to just coast around.
If you're busy, if you're too busy, you're doing something wrong. Your team's not big enough. You're not charging enough. The two, because that leads me on to the next thing again, is again with ego. And this was something I realized almost as soon as I became a gas engineer, before I even became educated in business, really, of guys wearing guys who don't do any marketing are wearing it like a badge of honor. I've never had to do any marketing. All right, what are you charging for a boiler service? 60 quid. Right. And that doesn't make you realize why you don't need to do anything, because it's the same guys. And I'm stacked out, I'm booked up for weeks. Oh, nice. What are you charging for a boiler swap? 800 quid.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
When people come to us and they're stacked out like that, the first thing I say is, well, that's actually a warning sign. That's a warning sign that, as I think you briefly said there, like, is the staffing not correct in the business? Is the pricing not correct in the business? Is the type of work you're doing not the type not aligned with what you want? So what a lot of traditional people see as a benefit, I actually see as one of the early warning signs in a business that they're heading down the wrong in the wrong direction, isn't it?
Yeah. 5 jobs a day at 100 quid a job is better than 10 jobs a day at 50 quid a job. But a lot of guys think that's the other way around, because thinking, oh yeah, well, I've got more customers, without looking at it like the business nuances of it, of the travel time, because that then is probably going to eat into your evening time. Fuel is a common topic currently, given the price of it, and this is the thing then that will why a lot of guys don't scale their business, because it's a very different mindset when it's just you. But if you try and add another member of the team and give them 10 jobs a day at 50 quid a job, you're then paying for another van and more fuel and all that sort of stuff. And it really then, that's why so many guys, they might take someone on and then they go back again, because they look at being busy as a win, instead of taking that step back and really drilling down. And again, trying to stay busy in the summer or the winter, depending on your quiet period, again, as we said before. But trying to just stay busy, a lot of lads are looking at, well, how can I fill this time in the summer? Well, let's go and do something else, instead of thinking, well, actually, now I've got a little bit of breathing space. How can I improve the business? But again, ego is like, no, I want to be busy, so then I can tell everyone I'm busy, and I can, I'm not quiet. No, I'm all right. Ego again, confusing graft with progress.
Yeah, 100%. And then like there's, it's hard, because you sort of like, traditionally that has always been a metric, isn't it? If you're busy, that's good. So it's sort of undoing 50 years of preconceived ideas, isn't it? And again, it can be a difficult. Some people embrace it quite quickly, and understand that actually it's not. But for others, it carries a lot of weight, because their families want, people around them see them as a tradesman. So if they're not busy, they're not doing something right. And like, I know when I first started getting off the tools, it was like I wasn't working anymore to my family's eyes, because I was in the office, or I was going to work in a car rather than a van, and I weren't coming home smelly and dirty.
Yeah, I still got
whereas arguably it's harder bloody work. Oh, sorry, say that again, Andy. It broke up, mate.
I said I'm in that phase currently.
Yeah. And it can get quite annoying, if I'm quite honest, because it can be more challenging and more exerting, working on the back end of the business, dealing with building the business, rather than just going to fit the boiler or tile the floor or whatever it might be that you do.
Absolutely, yeah. That's it. Like literally having a chat with one of our mentees the other day, one of the local lads for me, and he'd because he was having a party. His little girl was having a party at home on the weekend, so he'd spent the Friday, some of the day getting the house ready and the garden ready for the party, and then the rest of the day working on some of the software that we've built for him, Quotient and ServiceMate, etc., and implementing some of his new sales line build that you'd done for him. And he messaged me later in the day because he was having a problem with his quotient that I fixed for him about letting the customers being able to download the PDFs, and it was just something in settings. He messaged me later on to say thanks, and he said, "I am fucked. I am fucked." He's like, "Give me a combi swap any day of the week." He said, "This has ruined me," because it's like just a different type of graft, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it is, and it takes a lot of getting used to, you know. So don't underestimate it, like, lads, because it's not necessarily an easier path. It's different, and it brings its own challenges, but it doesn't necessarily mean an easy life.
No. Just to get a little bit back on topic again, from the ego perspective, again, one of the most relevant points to it is, or a double-sided point to this, is either I'll just do it myself or I don't trust anyone else.
That's huge.
I'll just do it myself is another one of those big ego type things. I'll just do it myself, because I can do it the best. I'll just do it myself. But that is just leaving you absolutely trapped and completely in your own way, especially as we've spoke about so many times, of that you no longer need to be the most amazing, fantastic tradesman in the world, because customers' perception of value is no longer 100% tied to that. As you've just said, it used to be tied to that, but now customers want and expect a lot more. So with the blow up in software over the last sort of 5 years, the Amazon Prime, as we call it, sort of Uber taxi kind of mindset that people have now, it just isn't enough anymore. So you have to accept that it's no longer a luxury to get software or get an admin person answering the phone. It's now a necessity. And I mean, I'm quite passionate about this because I've had a lot of arguments on the forums with people about it, who are still stuck in that mindset of, oh no, just do a good job, charge a good price and you'll do well in business. Bullshit. Absolute fucking bullshit nowadays. And I'm sorry if it's a hard pill for people to swallow. Unless you've got a massive customer base, it won't work. It just won't work. So the lads, this is probably for the benefit of the lads that are perhaps leaving a company, British Gas or whoever it might be, and are going to start out on their own. If you don't do this from the get-go, you're doomed to fail, because it just won't work. The guys doing marketing,
not in 2026. You know,
no,
it's just not enough anymore, is it?
Yeah, no, and that's such a big ego thing. Yeah, but I'm the best tradesman in my area. I always answer the phone when people ring me, even if I'm on a boiler, and I'll get out on a Saturday morning. It's just not enough. It's what wraps around it that needs to be done, and that needs to be. You need to let your ego go to accept that someone else answering the phone will do a better job than me. An admin person who is trained and experienced in admin and answering the phone and dealing with customer complaints will do a better job than you will as a tradesman at working on that side of the business. That's like, I don't think it's that, far-fetched to say that and for people to accept that, and I think trust is something that some guys perhaps struggle with on that. I don't trust a stranger to answer the phone because the customers know it's me. But again, that's keeping you stuck and stopping you from scaling. We say a lot to the lads about the quicker you can position yourself. You don't need to be off the tools straight away, but the quicker you can position yourself, at least to your new customers, as just another employee in the business, the quicker you will change the whole dynamic. Because what it will allow you to do is take the emotion out of the face-to-face side of the customer work. So letting emotion dictate your pricing is going to leave you stuck as well. You're going to be in your own way with that. But by dropping the ego, accepting that someone else can do a better job than me, you're not irreplaceable. You just think you are. And, an admin lady in the office will do a better job. She'll be also, as I've said a million times, people lads, men and women prefer to talk to women on the phone. We all prefer to talk to women on the phone because they're better at it. They're just better at it. They have a more calming voice. They're better, control. Men are like, right, yeah, I can put you in. Women are just better at that side of things. This is why most healthcare professionals are women. But accepting that you're not irreplaceable and someone else can do a better job than you can allow then, if you go out to the work to do the jobs as an employee, you're not going to have that, I'll just give us 20 quid. Just give us 20 quid. It's booked in. The admin team's booked it in as a job. But yeah, it's your ego that's stopping you from letting other people into the business.
Yeah.
Sorry, I took over there.
Definitely is. So a bit of a sort of closing question, I guess, is to sort of have a little look at where possibly your ego is getting in your way, and start to try and unpick that mindset or that barrier that you've put up. And honestly, once you sort of lose that weight, everything becomes a bit easier, doesn't it? Because you're not getting in your own way. You're not tripping your own self up, are you, anymore?
Yeah, that's it. When you think you are the be all and end all of the business, then it allows you to have freedom of mind then and actually look at it, because again, it comes back to that accidental business owner perspective. Of again thinking it's all about you. Yeah, I'm happy where I am. Unfortunately, that is not enough anymore. It's just not enough. And we're not saying this to be arsey and argumentative with people. We're saying this for lads don't lose what they've got. Again, something else we've said a few times, lads who are applying to our heating businesses, a big bulk of those lads that are applying are self-employed or have been self-employed, haven't they, for however many years? There's my office manager's interviewing 2 lads on Tuesday who one of them's been self-employed for 25 years.
Yeah.
But it's not enough.
It's obviously not. It's just not got where he wanted it to be, is it? So and that's a trend that I'm seeing across the country as well. Lots of people that we're working with are reporting similar examples, aren't they?
Yeah. But yeah, it's not said as an attack. We help a lot of lads with no expectation of anything back from them. We do free onboarding calls. You can just have a chat. We are going to be doing a completely free webinar soon as well, which is going to be a complete Q&A webinar. Bring your questions. Both of us will be on the webinar, verbally answering and answering in the chat. You can be anonymous if you want. If you're working for a company and thinking about going on your own, just jump on. You can answer any questions you've got about the industry, about the game, the landscape in the trade world, how it's changing, and things about software. So yeah, we'll just keep an eye open for that. We're going to be putting some stuff on socials about that. But yeah, no, completely free, no commitments, just questions, bring it to the table. So
I'm looking forward to that one. I like a freestyle, because we're not going to know who's going to be on and who's going to ask what. So they always end up being great sessions, whether it's the public one that we got coming up, which the date will be confirmed soon, or whether it's for the lads in the Alliance on the Wayne's World Wednesdays and stuff. I love that. That real raw discussion, answering things that people are asking. So looking forward to that. Any closing words, or should we wrap up this episode?
Yeah, I think that's about it. I think with that one, really, just it's hard. We're all men. We know we all know about ego, but you need to see past it, because it's gonna, as per the title, it's killing your ability to grow a business. You just got to get out of your own way. Except that there's people who can do the admin side better than you. There's lads that can do the field work, I would argue, better than you. I'm not saying about the job itself, but the fact that they can be compartmentalized as an employee will allow them to view things differently. They will just go in and do the job. They're not going to be worrying about pricing and, you know, I'm the business owner and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
They do a job. It's different that way. So, but yeah, if you have any questions about that, you know, reach out to me or Wayne.
Yeah. And yeah, please, that's a great point there. You know, drop us an email, wayne@offthetools.co.uk, .co.uk, or andy@offthetools.co.uk, or you can just shoot onto the website and get in touch with us there. We'll see you all on the next episode. Have a good day, everyone.
Let's go.